everyone, I know a lot of you have asked me for love advice, romance advice. Well, today is the day I'm gonna give you all of my knowledge on all things love and relationships. I started dating secretly without my mom's permission. Sorry, mommy. When I was 13 years old, I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school and I dated a senior. Shout out to Hector Alzate, wherever you are. When you're 13 or 14, you barely know who you are. You're just learning about yourself. You're defining who you are. And I think that's a really young age to allow a guy to come into your life and have like a role where he gets to define also who you are. And I say this because I had a really crazy experience where I realized all the girls that he would say were beautiful looked nothing like what I looked like. This is no hate on Gwyneth Paltrow or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I'm just saying I look nothing like Sarah Michelle Gellar or Gwyneth Paltrow. And then we watched TRL one day and Jennifer Lopez came on and I was this close to the screen like, oh my God, she's so gorgeous. And he was like, ugh, she's okay. And it literally hurt my feelings that he didn't like J-Lo and that he was praising all this other look. And I remember allowing that for like 5 seconds to like cause self-doubt and insecurity in myself. And then I was like, nah, he's bugging, J-Lo's the bomb. And me and her, we just out here glowing and, you know, just with our highlights and our curves, we're popping in these streets. But I do know there are young girls that would really be affected by that sort of thing. So I think 13 and 14 years old is too young to start dating. In my 20s, I still always liked older men. Some things never change. I've never been attracted to somebody initially from meeting them just based off of looks. Like never, it's never happened to me. I have always been attracted to personality. I love guys with an amazing sense of humor. I was that way from when I was young. Like I would meet guys and if they could make me laugh, I was like, oh, you've got my attention. I've always liked guys that can dress. That is something I will notice. I notice if you have dope sneakers, you know, when you're a teenager and when you're in your 20s, you're like, what Jordans do you have on? He's fly. I liked that. I always liked guys that were mature in the sense that I felt like, you know, if something was to pop off, they might fight for me. I liked that. I liked that security. I have always dated men that were taller than me because it's impossible to be shorter than me. In my 20s, I liked a little bit of a bad boy. Those were good times. Stay away from the bad boys, girls. Stay away from the bad boys. It's funny when I think of heartbreaks because in the moment you think that you are going to die. You're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get over this. Life is over. And now looking back, I'm like, I've never had heartbreaks. So if you are going through a heartbreak right now, I can assure you, girlfriend, you are gonna get through it. You're gonna get over it. You will be sitting just like me 10 years from now, like, who? What? My heart is just fine. The point is, I think the most important thing is, and I always say this, you have to fall in love with yourself first before you can fall in love with someone else. And when your heart has been broken, the way that you repair it is falling in love with yourself. I think there's always a time to restore yourself, to reinvent yourself, to love on yourself. When I turned 30, I was like, oh, thank God my 20s are over because I did go through a lot of boy struggle. I think that I really saw potential in a lot of guys and I wanted more for them. I wanted more for us. And I am a very passionate person and I'm very extreme. If I love somebody, I will love you all the way. And sometimes that ended up hurting me because I wasn't loved in the same way in return. Deal breakers for me in a relationship are number one, if you don't respect me. If you curse at me, no, we're done. Like, don't ever in your life. There's a difference between cursing around me versus cursing at me. If a man is willing to call me out my name or curse at me or speak to me in a demeaning way, can't do it. I'm not doing that. When you get to a certain age, you know what that is. You know when someone's being condescending. You know when somebody speaks up to you, and you know when someone speaks down to you, and there is a difference. If someone is speaking to you in a demeaning way, you don't have to put up with that. Turn around and walk out. I love this saying, and it's my favorite when it comes to dating, which is, People can only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So when you're dating someone, what you let them get away with is what you've allowed. You've allowed them to think that's okay to speak to you that way. You've allowed them to think that if they don't return your call for 2-3 days, that's cool if you respond. Oh, you go ghost on me? Oh, sweetie, I will go Casper on you. Like, you will never even know that, actually Casper was a friendly ghost. I need to find like a really, like a ghost that's not friendly. I'm telling you, if I text you and you don't text me back, and I see you on social media, that tells me I'm not a priority to you. And guess what? If I'm not a priority to you, we're good. Moving on. Trust me, somebody else will answer that text. There is something to be said for a guy that pursues you, a guy that is gonna call you, make you feel loved, and give you what you need. One of the things that I think is really awesome that you definitely wanna have your spidey senses out for is guys that pay attention to details. A guy that pays attention to details not only says that he's a great listener, but that he cares. If he's paying attention to what you like, what you're into, what you said, your childhood stories, that means that person really cares about you. They value what you have to say, and they're probably gonna make you feel really special. I am the queen of the sneak up. All my boyfriends have snuck up on me, and I'm like, I didn't even, wait, what? All of them. And that is because I've always dated people that I was friends with first. And that to me is really important. So, do I believe in love at first sight? I'm sure it can happen. Have I ever experienced it? No. Everyone has always been my friend, and then like years later, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I look back to who they were when we weren't together, and it's like two different people. So I do believe in love at first sight, and if you experienced that, that's awesome. I have not, and for me, every guy I've ever been in love with snuck up on me. I obviously was older when I met my husband, so my priorities were definitely different. I knew that I wanted someone that I wanted to like more than just be in love with. Like I had heard so many stories that the in love feeling is wavering. I had read the 5 languages of love that explained that there actually is a chemical that releases in our body that makes us feel in love. So I was like, oh, I want somebody that after the chemical has, gone away, the chemical reaction is gone, that this is still somebody that I really, really like. And I knew that I had found that with my husband, with Israel, when he wasn't my husband, when I realized just what a really good person he was. I don't love him because of things he does for me or how he makes me feel. This is so much deeper. I love him for who he is. He's very forgiving, he's kind, he's thoughtful. I love him for the way he thinks. I love him for the way he treats people. I love him for the fact that he's just a really, really good person all around. There's something to be said about compatibility. If you marry someone that you are genuinely compatible with, there won't be as many head bumping moments. I think there won't be as many arguments. We don't really argue very often. And when we do, it's over the dumbest, smallest things. So we fight over dumb things, but if it's something significant, I think it's really important to recognize how you communicate and that it stays respectful. My mother always says, don't play with the hands and don't play with the words. Like, I remember being in relationships when I was way younger, when I was in my 20s, where cursing at each other would happen, or like, shut the F up, what? Like, yeah, I could never, ever imagine Israel speak. He would never curse. It would never happen. And I love that we could have disagreements. I could see him packing his stuff up and leaving before he curses me out, because that's who he is. He just would never speak to me that way. As you mature and you get older, you recognize that there is a way to argue your point. Sometimes even writing letters. Oh my gosh, okay. Sometimes sitting down and writing, even if it's a text message, put all your thoughts together, express yourself. This is why I was hurt. This really hurt my feelings when you I love you and I really want us to work through this. Sometimes that's the better way to communicate before you start screaming and yelling at each other and saying things that you're gonna regret. I've been married for almost 2 years now, and I would say the 3 most important things that are needed in a healthy marriage are, number 1, honesty. If you can't be honest with that person and you can't hear honesty from that person, you should not marry them. That is not a healthy marriage. I literally tell Israel all the time, like, I could handle anything as long as you're honest with me about it. And I think that's a lot of women's number 1 fear would be betrayal, someone being disloyal to you. Honesty, for me, is the number 1 thing. Number 2 is trust. And I think you get to a place of trust by creating a foundation of honesty. So I think being able to trust each other, that your word is what it is. And if you say something to me, I believe that that's what it is. Whether it is from where you going to you saying you love me. Number 3, laughter. You gotta laugh. There are gonna be hard times in life. There's gonna be awkward moments in life. There is going to be farts in life. You've gotta laugh. Like, you have to have, I think there's real intimacy in laughter. And I think that if you can get through delayed flights, traveling, financial issues, and just laugh about it, like, well, I guess we're broke. Here's a slice of pizza. You wanna split it in half? Like, you've gotta find the funny in things. So I say those are the 3 most important things that have been awesome in my marriage, and I think they're important in any marriage, would be honesty, trust, and laughter. Actually, being in entertainment, we have made a decision to put one another first, especially with wanting to start a family. We actually, legit part of our deal on getting married was that we would never be apart from each other for longer than a week. So we are aware of that. Like, he never leaves for longer than a week. I never take a job that takes me for longer than a week. We've had real conversations about what if I get a job here and you get a job there, what matters. We would always be together. For us, that's what works for us. Like, if Israel got, some amazing life-changing offer that was in New York, or if I really wanted to, stay and do the real, whatever the decision is that we make, we're staying together. One of us would not end up in New York and the other in Los Angeles. That would never happen, and we both agreed on that. And I love that. Like, people don't know that Israel and I actually have an amazing escape plan that we daydream about all the time. And it is that we will delete our socials and disappear. No one will know where we went. But see, if I tell you, okay, we're going to an amazing place. I'm opening a flower shop and Israel's gonna give guitar lessons. And we're just gonna have a simple life and it's gonna be amazing. And I know it sounds crazy, but if we lost it all, we literally could live anywhere with each other. Like, we know we'd be so happy. At some point, one of our life goals as a couple would be to tour together, to put our whole family on a bus and tour. Maybe my kids will get in on the act and they can sing, and we'd be like one big happy family singing on a tour bus. That would be a dream come true for me. There's a little bit about what I know about love, and I've been through so much, highs and lows, but I hope it inspires you. Because I'm in such a happy place right now, and you too can get to that place. Don't give up hope. Love is out there for everyone. And I just want to see what you guys have to say in the comments about your experiences in love. When did you start dating? Was you fast? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Love you guys.